What is up, guys? Today we're going to be going over EVs and IVs and how you can set them for raids or competitive. So let's jump right in. So for the raids, I'm going to actually be doing one in game, and it's going to be for Josh Bun. Now, I just caught him. If you look at the right, it says HP, attack, defense, speed, special defense, and special attack. They're all different. So I just went out, caught him in the wild, and he's not going to have the best IVs ever in the game. The max you can go is 31, which is ideal, depending on the circumstance. Now, I will be building him to do raids. More importantly, the 6 or 7-star raids. And if you look at him, it says decent, pretty good. You're going to want fantastic. Okay? So that's what his IVs are right now. Now we can go back and inspect him. And if we come over to the tab that shows us pretty much what we just saw in the box, the reason I saw that in the box was with the judge function, which you get access to after you beat the Elite Four and talk to a Poke Center. They will give you the judge function. You will be able to see the IVs for your Pokemon for each stat. Now, depending on what you're doing, you won't want the best ever, but I will go over it as we get to it for why you would do that. Now, if you come over to here outside of the box, you hit left, it'll show you this yellow graph. Now, when I caught him, he has nothing. These are his EVs, or his effort values. Now, this is where you can tweak your effort values to make him take more damage, do more damage, or move faster or move slower. This is going to be very important. Now, in game, you can come to the Chansey Supply Store, and this is where you are going to get a lot of your bottle caps, your HPs, your vitamins. So if you look at the vitamins here, your vitamins will give you 10 per. You can do a max of 255 per stat. Now you can only do a max of about 510 overall. And individual stats, say attack, you can only go to 252. That's a max for one single stat. Vitamins here give you 10 each. One vitamin equals 10. So if you put 26 in, that gives you 252, because that's what it maxes out at essentially. That's the highest stat you can go to actually have it do something. Now, ability capsules changes your ability. That doesn't really matter unless you want a specific ability. And then down, if you go even farther, you get your mints. Now, if you look underneath me, there is different mints for different things. So we're on the relaxed mint. It says its defense will grow, however, its speed will suffer. What that means is your defense stat will go higher. So if you went 252 and then you put on the relaxed mint, your defense would go higher than what it could just at 252. You'd be a positive nature, in other words. But your speed would suffer. So you would go slower than what you were at. So that is actually another way to do that. We are going to be minting our Pokemon for this. And this is where you're going to get all of your mints, your vitamins. And then the last item you can use to do IVs. Now, the last item we can use for EVs is actually going to be feathers. So if you come into your bag, which if you've been picking up the glint, the shiny things are on the floor, you've most likely picked them up. So they do the exact same thing as vitamins, but they only count as 1. So proteins, vitamins count as 10, which is the most effective way to do the training. But you can use feathers if you need that one little tweak to make it that much more precise. And we will most likely be going over a calc for that as well, because we are going to be doing a raid build in game and then a competitive build, both out of game, but one's going to be correlating, showing you how it does transfer over. And then the final thing you will need is bottle caps. Bottle caps you can get from Delibird Presents. So if you go into Delibird Presents, You can go to battle items, which will give you access to your assault vests, your focus sash, your life orbs, stuff like that. If you go general goods, first thing that's going to pop up is a bottle cap. Bottle cap is going to help you fix those IVs, which we will also be showing off. Now, if you head all the way up to the city where the ghost gym is, you'll be able to use those bottle caps. So if you come over to Montevera, you will be able to come over to this gentleman right here who says hyper train. Get it here. That means you'll be able to come and use your bottle caps to hyper train. But first, before we do that in game, I'm going to jump over to a damage calculator that I use to help me determine on how I want to build the Pokemon in game. So I'm not really just wasting material and money in the game, because some of it can be really hard to find and really hard to get. So let's jump over to the damage calculator. So this right here is the damage calculator. It is Pikalytics, which I use a lot to do a lot of my calculations. Now, if you see right here, we have a Charizard, a 7-star Charizard raid coming up. And I'm thinking about using Doshbun in that raid, particularly because of his ability and his typing. But the only problem with Pikalytics right now is you can't really get everything in. The game's so new right now that you won't be able to do all the abilities, all the new items, the Tera types, but you can still get it to work. And what I mean by that is if you look at this Charizard here, this is a Pikalytics set. What that means on this website is that's a very common set. This is a common website that everybody does for competitive Pokemon. But I'm going to show you how to turn it into a Tera Raid. So it is a event Pokemon coming up. So we know the typing, we know what Pokemon it is. And we already know how Tera types work. You have your 2 stabs from your typing, and then you get a 3rd stab from the Tera type. Now that does give you the weaknesses, so it does change quite a bit. So if we came over to Charizard and I just picked the Pikalytics set, I went through a lot of its moves, its egg moves and stuff like that, and thought, what could I be weak to? Okay, so it gave me right off the bat, Hurricane, Blast Burn, Ancient Power. Earthquake is typically like a Protect or something like that. Is very most of the time. Most of the time a Charizard would like to run a standard set, which would look like this. So if we look here, this is a standard set for Charizard in competitive. And now, if you look at it, he went all special attack, which means his special attack is higher. All speed, which is all higher because he wants to go first and he wants to hit you really hard on the special side. And then 4 HP, so he can live. Now, he does run Protect, Hurricane, Blast Burn, and Ancient Power. Now, this is where stuff kind of gets tricky for the raid set and the new Pokemon. So, Timid, he plus speed minus attack because he's not going to be using his attack. Down here, you see his moves, what types they are, if they're special or physical. He does run Protect, which is physical, but everything else is special. Protect doesn't do anything, it's technically not physical at all. Now, over here, for my set, is going to be Play Rough. Everything else is going to be support, and it's going to be Play Rough. That's going to be the attack move. Now, for the raid instance, I know he is Fire, Flying, and Dragon. There's 3 types. Technically, it's 1 type because that's what I'm going to be hitting him on. But if you look at him, I know Doshbun has the ability of Well-Baked Body, so I'm immune to Fire type. So I'm going to get rid of that and go Dragon. Okay. My damage just skyrocketed. And I haven't even done any train whatsoever. I haven't done any. But his Hurricane still does something. Blast Burn, I'm going to ignore. And this is his standard set. Now, also, if we look at the standard 5 to 6 star raids right now, they're running about 128 on both defenses. So we can actually go in here, put 128, or that's special attack. We can actually go in the defense, 128, 128, run this all the way down to 0. And now a 128 defense in both. I'm doing a lot of damage to him. He's now not able to one-shot me, which would be an Oko. He can 2-hit with a Hurricane. But now this is where we get into our set. So if you look here, I know what I want to do. I need to attack. And the way my moves are going to be set up is I'm going to pretty much just be going on. I'm going to try and live as much as I can and do as much damage as possible. So for a Tera Raid, I want to have max HP and max attack, and then see what it does. So there we go. I just put 252, and let's get rid of this adamant for now. Let's just go with this. It's a neutral nature. It doesn't give you plus, doesn't give you minus anything. So if you noticed, my damage did go up. Now I can do more damage technically, maybe a little less than him with his Hurricane. But if you look at speeds, 150, 115 and 132. I'm slower, but I haven't put anything in, and neither has he. I don't know if the Charizard is going to be EV spread perfectly. So I'm going to be just basing it off those defenses. And then that Hurricane scares me because it can do a lot of damage, and I'm not immune to it. Now, if I go to HP, 252, it dropped from 90 to 76. That's big. That is really big. Now I have a chance to knock him out first. And then we can come down here. Get rid of that because that's the item. Items can be calced in depending on the item. Now I'm going to go adamant because I don't care about special attack. I'm not going to be using it. If you just notice, I put 252 into my attack. And I'm going to be going adamant. So it gives me even more. So you will see that 91 jump up. Now it's 101. That's the max. Now I can go and most likely one-shot a level 50 Charizard. That is Dragon Flying. If I go none, it won't change, but he loses that stab on flying, which we're not really going to calc on here, because he is still going to have it on the attack side. But now these numbers have changed. So 164 and 145. That's what our numbers are now with perfects. You can calc in items, which I have a set actually in the game with Assault Vest. I tried an Assault Vest set. It worked really well. But it's more, all I can do is attack. I can't really do anything else. But it brings the Hurricane way down, like way, way down. That's easy. I can live that, and I feel comfortable living that. Now, the new set I'm doing, which we are going to be setting up in this video, is going to be a citrus berry. Now, what a citrus berry does is it won't calc here. You have to think about it. There's different berries in the game that do different things. Citrus berry, once my health gets below half, I heal up. I'll eat the berry and I'll heal up. Now, if he hits me with Hurricane, say he takes more than half my health, which he most likely will off this, what it's telling me right now, I will eat that berry and I'll heal back up, and then I can hit him again. I'll be able to hit him twice and knock him out for a level 50. Now, we can take this and put it in game and then compare the numbers. So let's go ahead, jump back into the game and start training him up. So we're now back in the game, and first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and bottle cap. So you want to hyper train? Yes. Yes, we do. We're going to pick our first guy here because he is not perfect at all. Go ahead, select that. Bottle caps, we have 11. We're doing some Tera Raids. Now this is where bottle caps can get tricky. So if we go back to the calc that we were doing, I wanted minus special attack because I'm not using it. So I don't need to bottle cap it. I mean, in all honesty, for a Pokemon that is only wanting to use their physical attack stat, you would go HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed. Because you're not going to be using your special attack. Now, your speed will differ if you are using a Trick Room mod. But if you would like to see a video on how to set up a Trick Room mod, let me know in the comment section below, because I can go over exactly how to do that, because I do like using Trick Room in competitive. In a Tera Raid, you would not do that. You want to go fast. So we go ahead, bottle cap everything except special attack. And now you see those numbers now. So let's just remember 165 for attack and 239 for HP. We'll hit, go ahead, start training. We'll hyper train up, and then those numbers will change. Just those two. So he'll ask if you want to do it again. Just say no. We can go back to him, and look at that. His HP just right off the bat, we can already tell is different. He was 239. Now he's 255, and his attack jumped up. And the way it looks right now is he is a plus special defense and a minus special, or a minus attack. So he's not a good nature. So now let's go in and put in our nature, our mints as they are. And now you'll watch that attack that was 160, like 165. Now it's 176. Now watch it jump up. So we'll come over to our bag, go to our mints. So since we do want physical attack, we'll be using the adamant mint, because it says it'll boost the attack, but lower the special attack, which we're not using. So we'll go ahead, use this on him. He was 176. That was his attack stat. Now it will change. So now, since it did change, go to him, check his summary. Now he's 215. So just bottle capping and doing our mint, our number over there has already jumped up about 50 points. That's a huge difference in the game. I mean, there's nothing else that, like, this is going to be the number one thing you're going to need to do for Tera Raids. Like, not just competitive anymore. You're going to need to do this for Tera Raids, for special events and stuff like that. Now, he's at 215, but now we still have to do our training. So we've done bottle caps. We've done our mint, and now we can do our training for our vitamins. We can now use our vitamins and feathers to make them go even higher, because that's not it. I've already bought these. They're about 250,000 for 26 of them, or 25. It's for 25 of them, because they're 10,000 each. And to max a stat, you need 26. I already had some, so that helps out a lot. But this is going to be for HP. They all say what they do in them. HP up. It improves the HP stat. We're at 255. So we'll go ahead, use these, click on him. It says 26. I went down. I have more than 26. But the max you can go is like 252. So it's going to cap you out. We'll go ahead and use it. That leaves us 5 left. But we just gained a whole bunch in HP. We were 255. Now we're 318. 318. That's a big difference. It's a huge difference. We were way, way lower than that. Not even close to 318. And now we'll come over here, check the attack stat. It's 215. Now we're going to go use our vitamins on them. So now that we're back in our bag, we're going to be using protein. Protein increases the stat for attack. Now, iron is defense, carbos is speed, calcium is special attack, and then special defense. But we're going to be using protein because that's what we want to carry over. So we'll go ahead, use 26. 26 on him. He was 215. That was bottle cap and minted. Now, this is with our vitamin. So now we will check him. Now if we check it, it's at 284. We were in the mid hundreds. Now we're in the top 200s. Like, we're pushing 300 attack here. And our health wasn't even close to that. Our defenses were horrible. Our speed now is not bad. We are a level 100. So this setup right here, if we hit left, They will be shining because we max them out. They can't go any higher. And the nice thing about this is if you're doing spreads to figure stuff out, nothing can have more attack than this Pokemon setup right here. So this is the max HP it can have, and this is the max attack it can have. This Pokemon with any other spread cannot have more than this. They can have less than this, but they can't have more than this. So if we look at this, and we're gonna go with the HP and attack because that's what we played with the most. So 318 and 284. Now if we jump back to the damage calculator, they will match if we do this exact setup. So now that we're back on the damage calculator, if you look here at a level 100 with 252 and 252 is 318 and 284. That means that transferred over. In game, that's exactly what we got. It's exactly what we got in game with perfect bottle caps, which is 31. So we bottle capped them out. Now here the special attack is maxed. Don't pay attention to that. If you do the calculator here, which I will be leaving in the description for you to be able to click on and go try this and use it, you will be able, this will just max out no matter what. You can actually change that due to if you get in competitive, very high end competitive does tweak the special attacks, tweak the attacks, but that involves breeding, which if you want, I can go over a video on how to get a perfect Mon for competitive and what it would take. Just let me know in the comment section below if you're wanting that type of video as well. And I will give you most likely a very good trick room setter or a trick room user for speed, and then an attacker that wants to switch their attack or special attack. So like we just saw in game, adamant, which plus attack, using our calcs here for our vitamins gave us a 318 and a 284. Now that's how I did my raid set. Now let's get into a competitive set, which can show you exactly how the differences in your set can make a huge difference. So now for a competitive set, we're simply going to be going a Charizard versus a Charizard here. And that's only because 1, Charizard's coming up. 2, Charizard is always super competitive in the meta. And we just got done with Sword and Shield where Charizard was pretty much running the place. Now, if you look at the Pikalytic set, these are exactly the same. Both of these sets are exactly the same. From moves to spreads to mints to everything. The only difference is this one is Blaze, and we're actually going to be running Solar Power, which boosts his attack in the sun. And because you can just look at this, boom, boost the attack in the sun. But we're going to be doing the calc outside of sun. So, what's Charizard weak to? Well, he's weak to rock. So that's what the Ancient Power is for. The Ancient Power is to knock out the other Charizard. That's what we're going to be using here. If you're a 1v1, show you how you can win. So these are typical sets. We're going to be changing them. You're going to be actually going slower because if you go through here and you can actually start with a clean slate. Boom. You look at his Ancient Power. That's how much damage it's going to be doing. It's not going to go higher. It's not going to go lower. Now, we look over here. It's a special attack. So what are we going to do? We are going to be buffing our special attack. And you will see that number going down. See that? It's going down. And if you look here with his set, we don't need a special attack investment to knock his out. And his Blast Burn in the sun still does a lot of damage. And our Hurricane as well. So if you are using a sun team, which you most likely are, you don't need to calc that for a Charizard. because you both will be the same. But there's our special defense. If we go just full on 252, guess what? We are doing more damage with our ancient power than he is. Now, number one down again because we went HP. And he's running a life orb. So this is where stuff actually gets a little tricky as well. So this is another thing to keep in mind as well for going against the Charizard. So there was 2 sets that everybody used to run in last gen. There's a life orb and a Charty Berry. Now, if you're going against a life orb Charizard, you can sit here, take off your life orb, run a Charty Berry. What that does is halves the attack from rock types. Boom, we lost some attack, but his hurricane or his ancient power can't knock us out anymore at all. So if you're going to run a Charty Berry, you can empty all that. Gone. Now, still can't knock us out. We can't knock him out. We can't one-shot him because we got rid of the life orb. But him with the life orb cannot knock us out. That's a 30% increase. And it's just it's good. He can't knock us out. Now, if you go in here, use the Charty Berry because the game is going to calc that. This is going to calc that Charty Berry. Because you only get it once. That first turn of rock is not going to knock you out. So if you go in here and just creep it up a little bit. What I like to do is I just run 60. That's me. I like to add 60 into something. So I'm running a Charty Berry, and now his special attack I bumped 60 into. Now I could go 252. Boom. I'm knocking him out. He will not live my ancient power. It won't happen. Yes, we went full attack. He will move first. But he can't knock us out. He can do a lot of damage with his hurricane. But he can't knock us out with ancient power. We can knock him out. A little slower, but more sustainable. Very important. Very, very, very important. Now, 167, okay, is his speed. We're 132. Let's try and think of something that we would do in a competitive setup is we'd be running Sun, most likely a Tailwind, and he's probably going to be running a Tailwind as well. But, again, let's go Rock. Now we just want to, we know we can knock him out, and that's max attack. We are living, and we're plus speed. Okay, we are plus speed, so it does change our speed number a little bit. Now, we can go into our other defenses or add more speed. Right now, I don't know what the meta is going to look like for Scarlet and Violet, especially with a Charizard. I mean, you're going to be doing Tera types and stuff like that. I know Flutter Mane's really big right now, and that's a big threat, but you're going to be pretty fast. It doesn't seem like this metagame is going to be very fast. It seems like they're going to be pretty slow or a more mid-tier, about 100 range, which at 132 on a Charizard is fast. Already fast. You can bump that 167. Doesn't matter. Then you can count Tailwind and stuff, but we're not going to do that. But now you have 198 points. You can put into something else. So you don't really want to just throw it on a 1. Because if you go, so say you go HP, it's at 153 to 198. It's 178. Yeah, he does nothing. He literally does nothing now, and you just get a live. You're a big, bulky Charizard that can live another Charizard at max attack, life orb, like everything in their power, except for a modest nature. But they're not going to give up that timid to go slower to do more damage. They're going to be wanting to go fast to outspeed you. If you look at that, that's 178. If I click on this, oh, 196. We just gained 2. Oh, 197, 192. Okay, so that's 192, 178. If I go 4, will give us 77. Yes, it will. But that shows you if you want to go, so 184. Let's go 82. It's 176. That's 176 as well. If we go 2, our attack or health is the same, and we just minus 2. This is where the feathers come in and the nitpicking comes in. Because now we have 16. I dropped it, and now we have 176. And then I took 2 away, and I got 16. That is not really enough to change something, but it is. If you go into, say you want to go speed, you're 132. Now you're 134. You gain speed. You gain 1 point of speed, but that is important because now you're creeped into that next speed tier. And then you go Tailwind, which is right here. It's right behind me. It's in this middle. This middle section will have all your screens, your Tailwinds, your friend guards, everything like that. But now it calcs your Tailwind, you're 168. Anything slower than that, you're going to be outspeeded. But this will help you fine-tune everything and kind of outdo people. I mean, we did find out that, boom, right off the bat, Charlie Berry lets us live. Because you get rid of all this nonsense up here, and this nonsense, you already live. Now, if you want to do that from a stat standpoint, you most likely will be looking like this. Well, you get a little bit. You don't get your attack. You don't get speed, but you have 4. So you just throw the 4 back in there. Honestly, you would put the 4 back into special attack because you're at this point, you're not worried about speed. You just kind of want to live. And I can do a little bit more damage. And if you take your number here, creep it down. So we're at what? 185. That's 184. 184. 2 doesn't do anything. So you're maxed out. The 2 doesn't stand for anything because you're already maxed out. But if you go back to your special defense, take it down. Now you are 101. Go up a little bit. 198. Okay. So 198. 166. 98. That's 136. 164 at 126. So it looks like 164 is going to be our max. Now we have 90. 94 into special attack. We live. Barely. But even at the highest roll, he can't knock us out. And we can 100% knock him out. Now we're a very specially bulky Charizard that can still knock out. And that's kind of how you can do spreads. You can sit here and tweak them. Not waste, not do optimize or non-optimal. Because if you just saw there at the end, I tweaked it down all the way until we got 126 at the lowest. So if we went 162, that's 125. We go only 2 over. So that gives us 164. That's a 126. That gives us the 1 point bump. And it lets us live a little bit. Because if you came back to 162, he can knock us out. So that 2 point difference, which you'd be making up with feathers, is the difference between getting knocked out and not getting knocked out. So there is a difference there. And you now know that you can knock out the Charizard that's max full. I'm going to knock you out. I just want to hit you real hard. With a set of a Charizard where everybody's going to think you're this super offensive set, but you're actually a defensive set and actually swing the game. Now, competitive spreads can be very complicated and it can get very confusing really quickly. So, because you also have to take into effect your whole team. Your team needs to be working together and work together to take care of your weaknesses. But I hope this helped you figure out how to do some EVs and IVs and see that you can tweak stuff, change it, counter something that you didn't know was countering, because you can look up every Pokemon and kind of see how you can work around stuff. Even with Pikalytics here, having pre-made sets, pre-made EVs and IVs and stuff like that. I hope you found this helpful, and if it did, let me know in the comment section below if it did. And if you want me to do a Trick Room on because they're EVs and IVs are definitely completely different than a typical offensive Pokemon, because that involves egg breeding and stuff like that. If this did help you, go ahead, drop it a like, and subscribe for more. I mean, if you've already watched one video of mine, or at least 2 Scarlet and Violet ones, go ahead and subscribe, because there's definitely going to be more videos. And as it comes, there's going to be some competitive videos for teams and rental codes. But I'll catch you guys in the next one.